these sticks from South America to North America, or from Latin America to North America, and there's all of these wonderful stories about the eagle and the condor. And the eagle is about North America.
Was talking about.
Yeah, which
And the
is more
hummingbird.
intellectual, more about money and accumulation, all that stuff. Plus the condor is from Latin America, which is more about the heart and about emotions and feelings and the need for those to come together and to be in balance. So the bringing of the sticks, and we did ceremony on the beach by the Tulum archaeological zone, by the pyramid down there by the beach, exchanging these sticks from the Latin Americans to this man who is from an Ontario First Nations tribe. And Patty has more of them to exchange. So anyway, they're very cued in, particularly cued into Indigenous stuff because they learn a lot from Indigenous people. But I loved it when they were talking about economies. They said there were three big lies. And the first one is scarcity. And the second one is more is better. And the third one is you can't change it. So those are the three big lies that they ask us to question. But they are all doing amazing.
Millie?
They're all doing amazing work in their own lives. I just found it to be an incredibly exceptional group of independent-minded, but people that have done a lot of work on themselves and really know the difficulties of living in community. They said that unresolved conflict is the #1 source of the failure of an eco-village. So they've all become masters at conflict resolution. And they continue to study it because that is the most challenging thing in interpersonal relations. So that's one of the things that they really focus on. And then there's the whole permaculture stuff of living in harmony with the earth and figuring out how to do that without generating waste and just being very creative about making it easier, because that's what permaculture is really about, is having it be just part of your environment and just you becoming more and more part of the environment, so that earth care and fair share and people care are all equally balanced. And that's the core of permaculture ethics. Earth care, fair share, and people care, which we seem to be lacking in a lot. And I have a lot more notes, but I don't really want to get too much into yeah, I'm free to take questions, but it's also, they are all envisioning a future human community that works on this planet, because what we have now is not working. What we have now is generating all this waste. I mean, you've seen the plastic in the oceans and anywhere you go, you're aware of that. You're aware of the pollution in the air and how it's affecting us and how all the environmental pollutants are, all of that stuff. And they're figuring out, they are pioneers. They are figuring out how we can do this. And it takes tremendous courage and tremendous heart and tremendous creativity. And so they're just an awesome community. I would love to spend more time with these eco-village people because I just really resonate with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like pioneers of sustainability and also community living in a more profound way.
Yes.
Now, I sent that video out to you guys of the Kogi tribe. Did you see the link I sent to you? I sent it to both of you.
That's a whole nother,
and that's
Aluna.
Yeah.
A whole nother part of this was this, there are 4 tribes, and I guess they're calling it now the Sun Nations as a collective. I just was communicating with the Jedi and the Redwoods group, which is where I met Patty and where Adam and she are posting to enlist those people to be involved in sending light to the Mayans who are trying to stop this train that is like destroying the cenotes. And Patty put on a video of them like drilling the stalactites and stalagmites. I mean, just obliterating them with machines, destroying what's taken tens of thousands of years for the earth to make, and created these incredible grottos and sacred places that are such an important part of Mayan cosmology and Mayan spirituality. And what they're doing is, I can't even believe, it's just like, really? Can people do this? And they are. And pouring cement into the cenotes.
What's the cenote exactly?
They are these underground waterways. It's like the aquifers are close to the surface, but they're all limestone, ancient seabeds. And so we went down in them and swam in them. The water is beautifully, perfectly clear, and there are special cave fishes in it, and stalactites and stalagmites, and going back into waterways and at many different levels, and they flow. But that's one of the things that this group, they're not the Kogi, but they're the Arawakos. There are 4 tribes that all occupy the Sierra Nevada de Maria, something like that, in De Marta, up in the Andes in Colombia, in the high Andes in Colombia. And they were isolated for a long time, but now there are some horrible videos that show that they are clear cutting right up where they are in order to make coffee plantations. And the coffee plantations are encroaching on everything. It's really it's very important that we do fair trade coffee, that we be very careful about where our coffee comes from, because they are one of the last strongholds of natural habitat, and they have guarded it. And they did a film 20 years ago called Messages from the Elder Brothers, where they're saying, look, you folks, you're going to wreck this planet if you don't stop all this craziness. And this is a more recent film about Aluna, and Aluna is this, it's very feminine and it's very watery, but it's where everything comes from. It is what precedes matter. And they are masters of drawing on Aluna for creation in this realm.
I understood that Aluna was kind of like the mother goddess in their culture. It was like their god, but they view it as a feminine god, and it's earth. And it's a consciousness of earth that they relate to. And they learn to communicate with from a very young age.
But has no form. It's
Yes.
formless.
Yes.
But it is where, and it's unseen, and so, but it's they are trained. Their spiritual leaders are trained. They're kept in dark caves for long periods of time, years, in order to develop that ability to communicate with unseen worlds.
The shamans, the young kids when they're shamans, they're literally trained in a cave until their manhood.
You're trained to do
So
They're trained to be conscious in a cave, separated from sunlight from a very young age, like 5, until they become adult men, maybe 15, 14, 15, right?
And they're identified as the shaman.
They're the shamans, and
They
they're
don't
the
call
ones who
them that,
listen to
but,
the earth.
I mean,
Yeah. They're the highly conscious
spiritual
ones.
leaders. But,
They're like the tribe elders, the tribe leaders.
and everything that they do comes from them consulting and from the direction that they're getting from these unseen realms, from those connections that they have really nurtured and fostered, to have that connection to the world that we came from, the world that precedes this world of matter, and to be able to interact in this one. So yeah, that newer, the one that you sent out, the one about Aluna, is he talks more about, I think he's got the pictures of the clear cuts and how they are threatened in so many ways. So the whole group has come together, and one of the 4 has lost its language, so they're pretty, once you lose your language, you've really lost the culture. But they are gathered with the other 3, with the Kogis and the Arawakos, and I'm not sure what the other one is that still has language, into this group called Sun Nation, and they are wanting to declare themselves independent from Colombia and be a sovereign nation. And that's what's going on. And when they were there, they were really looking, they did a ceremony of abundance, and they just kind of landed in Chiltun, in this camp where the Casa people had set this up for the interactions with the indigenous people. And it was like, Patty, did you know that they were coming? And I saw them with they wear white unbleached cotton hand wound clothing, and then they have these bags that are very characteristic. And I have one that was given to me years ago by James O'D, who was the director of the Institute of Noetic Sciences, who we had come visit because there were all these synchronicities going on. He was invited to go down to see the Kogi. Anyway, these synchronicities were happening. He ended up giving that to me. So I know the bags. And these guys arrive, and they've got the bags, and like nobody knows who invited them. They just suddenly arrive. There's 5 of them, and then there's a couple of North American young people that are with them, that are kind of accompanying them and helping them along. And they invited us to do ceremony. Like, we had a whole agenda of other things that were supposed to be going on, but it's like, okay, these Kogi connections are asking us to come and do ceremony. Yeah, I'm in with it. And the ceremony was about claiming the abundance that we inherited at our birth, and going back to our birth and realizing that we can claim all abundance, that we have access to all of it. And then doing these things with cotton, which is very important to them, cotton, and balancing it, male and female, and as we were passing it and tearing it into little pieces and making little baskets to hold abundance in. But it was all about how we can get better at creating abundance so that we can give it to the natural world. And they kept saying that el mundo natural, that we need this abundance for the natural world needs this abundance in order to preserve it. That this is where the abundance that we have should be going, donations to the natural world. So that was pretty cool. And as they were talking about how they needed to generate this, I was talking to Patty about how we needed to connect them up with Adam, and we thought Adam Apollo was going to be coming to where we were staying, Ecanol. He was supposed to come there, and they were going to be there, but he ended up not coming there. But Patty was somehow able to they went to Regen Week, which was in town in Tulum, and away like a good half hour from where we were at Ecanol. But she was able to, they went there, connect them with Adam, and now Adam has been invited to undergo an initiation with the Sun Nation at the end of April. So that's all, and he says he doesn't know how that's going to happen because he's already committed to doing this class on divine sex. And he, in the intro to it, he said, yes, I'm not sure about that 4th class because I've just been invited to go to Colombia to do this initiation, and I don't know if that's going to happen, but it's like, so yeah, so that's a lot of things unfolded while we were there. And also, the other major thing that unfolded was that Patty was in touch with this man who is a Mayan traditionalist who calls himself Black Jaguar. And he was angry because he felt like they had not been included enough. They already have kind of a sore spot because all this development is going on. Nobody's talking to the indigenous people. Mm-hmm. They're just totally ignoring them like they do not exist. Like this is, this has been how this culture has treated the indigenous forever. Like they're invisible or less than. And what he is saying is that not only are the cenotes themselves sacred and important for the whole, how it all works, how Gaia has created this ecosystem. But he says underneath the cenotes, there is a crystal pyramid. And this crystal pyramid was built by the ETs, and that there is an ET colony down under the cenotes in the Yucatan Peninsula. So Patty came back from that and she says, John, I gotta tell you about this. Because she had just met with a Black Jaguar. And he said that the Mayans all know this. I don't know if he's exaggerating, but that's what he says. He says the traditional Mayans all know this and they are getting ready. They have been protesting all along, but they have stopped the railway right now at Playa del Carmen. Mm-hmm. And they're hoping that they should be able to stop it entirely because it's just destroying these incredible places.
Sounds like they're standing rock.
Wreaking havoc.
Yeah, sort of like their own standing rock, their own version of standing rock, yeah.
Yeah, and really wreaking havoc on
their culture and their ecosystem.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Not to mention the ETs.
Not to mention the ETs.
And she
ETs
came
are
up,
people too, you know.
and she has come up with these amazing. Okay, where is it? It's under WhatsApp.